Imagine, kunto ay trilustan ol baon talas kung kikas unoche nos tustas kapult amchi, atos moldetroi conchentalan si pelokunt loke. It is a vital current that never grows old, that never fully goes out, and that, far from diminishing with the years, can become more powerful the more you learn to recognize it, to honor it, and to direct it. That fire is your creative energy, an intimate, mysterious force, which the most ancient cultures of the planet consider not only important, but sacred. In stone temples, in hidden scrolls, in chants that still resound among the mountains of Asia, or in the silent deserts of the Middle East, there was always the same echo. Life is not sustained only with food, nor only with air, but with this sacred spark that burns in the deepest part of every human being. Today I want to talk to you about something that is rarely said clearly, something that for centuries has been covered with veils of shame, of taboo, or of ignorance. And it is this: your sexual energy is not only a biological impulse, it is not simply the search for momentary pleasure. It is, in reality, the very root of your vitality, of your mental clarity, of your creativity, and even of your spiritual connection. Here is the key: it does not matter if you are 20, 40, 60, or more than 80 years old. That energy does not run out with the passing of time. What changes is your relationship with it, the way you choose to use it. There precisely lies both the mystery and the great opportunity. Most people go through their whole lives without realizing what they carry inside. They live that fire unconsciously, as if they held in their hands a torch capable of illuminating an entire temple, but used it only to light a match and then let it die. That fire, which could transform their vitality, is consumed quickly, is lit without direction, and goes out in a matter of seconds. The result is the same: an instant of heat followed by a void that little by little wears down the body, clouds the mind, and disconnects the spirit. However, the sages of antiquity had a different vision. In the mountains of China, the Taoists spoke of Jing, that vital essence that had to be cultivated and preserved like a treasure. In the sacred lands of India, the yogis spoke of Kundalini, the luminous serpent that rests at the base of the spine, and that when awakened, rises to open the mind and the heart. In the mysterious manuscripts of the European alchemists, that same truth appeared hidden under symbols of gold, mercury, and fire. The union between the instinctive and the conscious could become the most precious of metals, an inner gold that does not wear out or rust because it is lived wisdom. Think about this: different cultures, different languages, different religions, and yet they all agreed on the same thing. There is in the human being a hidden energy that, if dispersed, leads to exhaustion, but if cultivated, opens the doors to longevity, clarity, and the expansion of consciousness. Now then, what does all this mean for you, here and now, in the middle of your daily life? It means that every impulse, every vibration, every experience of desire that appears in your body can be a door toward dispersion and exhaustion, or a door toward clarity, strength, and connection with the divine. The difference is not in the act itself, but in the level of consciousness you give to it. Imagine your body as a living temple. At its center, hidden and at the same time throbbing, there is an invisible chalice where your vital essence boils. Every breath you take, every emotion you feel, every thought that crosses your mind touches that chalice. When you ignite your fire without direction, when you use it only as a quick discharge, that chalice overflows and the sacred water spills into the void. But when you learn to guide it, that same water becomes a fertile river. It waters the roots of your body, strengthens your organs, nourishes your heart, and expands your mind. This is not abstract theory. It is living practice, an inner alchemy that anyone can experience. Imagine, for example, that in a moment of intense arousal, you decide not to give in immediately to the habit of release. You breathe deeply, you feel how the air fills your abdomen, you gently tense your pelvic muscles as if drawing inward that burning energy. At the same time, you visualize that force as a liquid light that ascends from the base of your spine to the center of your head. In that instant, something changes. What was going to be a fleeting spark becomes a luminous current that extends through your whole being. That simple act transforms a fleeting discharge into a source of vitality that can accompany you for hours, even for days. And when you repeat this practice consistently, you discover that your mood stabilizes, that your mind becomes clearer, that your body seems to regain a youth you thought was lost. The traditions taught it with symbols, parables, and rituals, but today science begins to confirm it with studies about neurotransmitters and hormones. Dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, all that chemical cocktail that is activated in intimate moments does not have to remain reduced to an instant of pleasure. It is possible to direct it toward memory, toward creativity, toward emotional serenity. The difference once again lies in the way you choose to relate to your inner fire. Now then, pay attention to this. In maturity, this practice makes even more sense. When the body no longer produces the same amount of vital essence as in youth, every drop becomes more valuable. It is as if within you there were a vessel of pure water. In the young years, the spring overflows and is wasted without you hardly noticing. But with time, that vessel fills more slowly, and every drop counts. There, in that stage, the same act can leave you empty, or it can recharge you with life. The same impulse can be a habit that robs your strength, or a ritual that multiplies it. Far from being a limit, age is an advantage, because now you have something that youth usually does not know: awareness and patience. Youth usually burns with impulses and haste. Maturity, on the other hand, knows the value of directing the fire calmly, with intention, with reverence. I want you to understand something very important. Your desire is not an enemy. You do not have to fight against it, nor repress it, nor feel guilt. Desire is in reality a teacher, a powerful servant that, if you learn to guide, becomes your greatest ally. Every vibration, every impulse, is like the secret language of that force that wants to awaken you, that wants to remind you that within you dwells a hidden spring. That spring, if you cultivate it, can give you mental clarity, physical strength, and spiritual connection. But if you neglect it, it can drag you into exhaustion and disconnection. The question that always remains floating is this: what will you do with your fire? Will you continue wasting it as if it were something trivial, as if its only meaning were an instant of pleasure that fades when it ends? Or will you begin to use it as the sages of antiquity did, as what it really is, the most precious jewel of your being? Think of a traveler who crosses a desert. In his hands he has a vessel of water. If he drinks carelessly, he will soon lose it all, and thirst will devour him. But if he manages it with awareness, if he knows how to drink at the right moment, if he even learns to refresh his body with just a few drops, then that vessel becomes his salvation. Your energy is that water in the desert of modern life. You can spend it thoughtlessly and be left empty, or you can cultivate it and discover in it the source of your inner strength. What you do with your energy is what you do with your life. If you choose to disperse it without awareness, you will live in emptiness, fatigue, and disconnection. But if you choose to cultivate it, your life will be filled with strength, clarity, and fullness. And I am not talking about distant theories, but about tangible realities that anyone can experience in their daily life. This is just the first step of a longer path, a reminder that the secret fire that burns within you is not a burden nor an impossible mystery. It is a gift. And like every gift, it only makes sense when you learn to receive it, to care for it, and to use it with wisdom. Now that we have walked together through the essence of this secret fire, you may be wondering, how can I apply it in my daily life? How can I transform a spiritual concept into a tangible experience, here and now, in the midst of my routines, of my responsibilities, of my relationships? The answer is simple in its form, but profound in its reach. Start by paying attention. Awareness is the master key. Every time a desire arises in you, a vibration, a spark, pause for a moment. Do not rush to stifle it, nor to repress it. Breathe, feel, recognize that this energy is life in movement, a river that seeks direction. A simple exercise you can practice at any moment is conscious breathing. When you feel that your inner fire begins to ignite, place your attention on the air that enters through your nose, travels through your abdomen, and then rises gently toward your chest. While inhaling, imagine that this energy ascends with you, illuminating each vertebra of your spine. As you exhale, feel how that light expands through your body, calming your mind and strengthening your heart. This simple act, repeated consistently, transforms moments of dispersion into opportunities for recharge. Another powerful habit is conscious movement. Yoga, Tai Chi, meditative walks, any practice that connects you with your body can become a channel to direct your energy. It is not about mechanical exercise, but about moving with presence, about feeling how the blood flows, how the muscles awaken, how each cell fills with oxygen and vitality. By doing so, your inner fire finds natural channels to expand without exhausting itself. In daily life, this practice is reflected in simple things. An artist, for example, can use that accumulated energy to give form to a painting that transmits pure emotion. A writer, instead of letting anxiety consume him, can transform that fire into words that touch hearts. Even someone who works in a routine trade can notice how, by cultivating his energy, his patience increases, his mind clears, and his body responds with greater vigor. But it is not all about external action. The cultivation of energy also manifests itself in the quality of your rest, in the calmness of your mind, and in the serenity of your spirit. When you learn to direct your inner fire, sleep becomes deeper, memory clearer, and creativity more spontaneous. You discover that you no longer depend so much on external stimuli to feel fullness, because within you carry a constant spring. Remember, it is not about repressing, but about transforming. Desire is not something to fight, but to refine. Like a musician who learns to tune his instrument, you learn to tune your body, your mind, and your heart so that every vibration becomes melody. And here is the most beautiful point: when you cultivate your inner fire, not only you benefit, your relationships change, you become more patient, more present, more loving. The energy that before was dispersed in impulses without direction becomes tenderness, empathy, shared strength. Your partner, your friends, your family feel that transformation even if they cannot put it into words, because well-guided fire not only illuminates your inner temple, but also lights the lamps of those around you.
A seed of vitality that will grow in mental clarity, in physical health, in spiritual connection. A seed that, over time, becomes a firm tree whose roots sustain your entire life. So the final invitation is clear. Do not see your energy as a weight, nor as a shameful secret. See it as what it is, a gift, an inexhaustible spring, a hidden jewel that waits to be discovered. Cultivate it with patience, direct it with love, share it with generosity. Because in the end, what you do with your energy is what you do with your life, and if you choose to honor that secret fire, you will not only walk with more strength and clarity, but you will also inspire others to light their own flame. Remember, the fire that burns within you is not only yours, it is a fragment of the divine, an echo of creation, an eternal spark that awaits the moment when you decide to ignite it with full awareness.